let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger traveling to Green Bay to take on the Green Bay Packers. It's a 4:25 Eastern time start at Lambeau Field. So, when I look at this game, expectations for this game, right? I believe Ben Roethlisberger is washed. I've said it before on many, many occasions that in order for the Pittsburgh Steelers to be true contenders in the AFC, they have to run the football with Najee Harris and play great defense. That's their formula to success. You can't have Roethlisberger dropping back to pass close to 60 times per game. That is a recipe for disaster. And that's what has happened for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Roethlisberger the last few weeks. I mean, you look at the games the last few weeks. They played the Cincinnati Bengals in week 3. And Roethlisberger had 318 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Not very impressive in that game. 58 passing attempts on the afternoon for Roethlisberger. And then the week before, he had 40 pass attempts against the Raiders. Back-to-back losses for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now Steeler Nation, they're wondering whether or not they're going to even be a playoff team. I told Steeler fans before the season, they won't be a playoff team in the AFC. It's not going to happen because Roethlisberger is washed. He can't carry you like he did in years past. Now, when he had Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown on the team, I thought Roethlisberger was still a quarterback you can win a Super Bowl with. But now that he's 39, you can't win a Super Bowl with Roethlisberger carrying your team. He needs to have an elite defense. And so far this season, the Steelers, defensively, they haven't been very impressive. I know last week against the Raiders, they had a ton of injuries. T.J. Watt was injured in that game. Bush was injured in that game. Halu was injured. Their nose tackle was injured. So they had a bunch of injuries they were dealing with on the defensive side of the ball. So if they don't have their key pieces on defense and you have Roethlisberger dropping back to pass 40 plus times a game, it's a recipe for disaster for the Steelers. It's a recipe for disaster. And Roethlisberger, he can't throw the ball more than 20 yards down the field. He can't. He has limitations throwing the ball down the field at this point in his career. And so we talked about, quarterbacks being in the era now when they can play into their 40s. We see Tom Brady playing elite football in his 40s. The thing is, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, even Aaron Rodgers, they didn't take the hits that Ben Roethlisberger has taken in his career. They never have taken those hits. Like Roethlisberger, at age 39, he's almost playing like he's 44. Like he looks like he's 44 out there. Like, because he's taken so many hits and because he's such a huge target, Roethlisberger, what is he, 6'5"? He's 6'5", and so he's a big target. Similar to Cam Newton, the only way you can really, really tackle Ben Roethlisberger is hitting him high. And so he's had so many defenders, grabbing him and tugging on him throughout the years that it just makes you feel like at this point in his career, he's taken so many hits, unlike Drew Brees, unlike, Tom Brady, unlike Aaron Rodgers, that he's going to have to retire earlier than he wants to. Does he still love the game? Absolutely. But he can't take the hits like he could at one point in his career. His body just has broken down over the years. And he hasn't been protected like a Drew Brees or like an Aaron Rodgers, or like a Tom Brady or like a Peyton Manning. Because the only way you can really bring Ben Roethlisberger down is hitting him high. He's taken a bunch of hits and had a bunch of nagging injuries that other all-time great quarterbacks didn't have to deal with. They didn't have to deal with those nagging injuries that Roethlisberger's had to deal with. He's like I said, similar to Cam Newton. He's such a big target that you have to hit him high. You hit him everywhere. Like you hit him everywhere on the field. And that's why he can't carry you at age 39 like a Tom Brady can, like an Aaron Rodgers will be able to, like even a Brett Favre was able to. Roethlisberger cannot do that. And that's why the Steelers are struggling the first 3 weeks of the season. In order for the Steelers to be successful, they have to run the football with Najee Harris. And watching the Steelers offense, they have Roethlisberger drop back to pass, and he's throwing the ball to check downs and praying they can make a play in the open field to get the Steelers a first down to keep drives going. That's their recipe for success right now. Throwing the ball to check downs and praying that the receivers or Najee Harris can make a play in the open field to get first downs. That's not going to win you many football games in the National Football League. It's not. And that's what the Steelers are doing right now. And so that's the reason why they're struggling so far this season. You combine that with the fact that defensively they're not playing at a high level like we expected. That's why you got the Steelers that's 1-2 right now. They're 1-2 right now on the season. And so, today I think this game will be competitive because the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have, a championship pedigree, meaning like they're going to compete in games. They're not going to show up and not compete. This is a team led by Mike Tomlin, a head coach who's never had a losing season in his career. Not one time has Mike Tomlin had a team with a losing record. So they're going to compete in this game against the Packers. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I still think the Packers will prevail in this game. And again, I think right now, when you look at the AFC North quarterbacks, Roethlisberger is the worst quarterback in the division. He's the worst quarterback in the division, and it's a landslide. He's not even close to Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow right now. Not even close. So, going into Lambeau Field, Aaron Rodgers, the last 2 weeks, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, getting back to playing at that MVP level that we know Aaron Rodgers is capable of playing at. We saw week 1, after getting blown off the field by the New Orleans Saints, everyone wanted to write off Aaron Rodgers. And they said Aaron Rodgers was done. And Aaron Rodgers isn't committed to the Packers. And he's not committed to winning. Aaron Rodgers, the last 2 weeks, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, playing at a very, very high level. Won in a hostile environment last week against the San Francisco 49ers, one of the best defenses in the NFL. His secondary it's very questionable, but their front 7 is the real deal, led by linebacker Fred Warner, Nick Bosa up front, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. The Packers been able to go and win a game against a team like the 49ers was impressive, the way they were able to pull that out. And Aaron Rodgers played great. 261 passing yards, I believe. 2 touchdowns. He was absolutely sensational on that game-winning drive on the last possession. I mean, being able to get the ball to the best receiver, Davante Adams, on that last game-winning drive, when everyone in the stadium, everyone who is watching the game knows that Davante Adams is going to be getting the football. And for Aaron Rodgers to be able to put the ball where it needed to be put at in that moment in the game with only 37 seconds left on the clock was impressive. Very impressive. You only got 37 seconds left on the clock, no timeouts, and you got to get in field goal range to win the game. So, in this game, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play well against the Steelers defense. Although we don't have Marquez Valdes-Scantling in this game, he's out with a hamstring injury. That's a key loss for the Packers because MVS is the deep threat that helps the Packers' vertical passing game. He's their deep threat on the team. So now we're going to need receivers like Amari Rodgers to step up, Randall Cobb to step up in the passing game to help, Aaron Rodgers, move the football for the Packers offense. You still got Davante Adams, still got Alan Lazard, guys who are more than capable of stepping up in the absence of an MVS. In the backfield, you still got Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is a great pass-catching running back out of the backfield. He creates mismatches on opposing teams' linebackers because no linebacker can guard Aaron Jones in the open field. No linebacker can guard Aaron Jones in the open field. So he's also an unsung player that we have on the team. So, I was impressed last week, like I said, with the Packers win over the 49ers. It wasn't the fact that the Packers won, it was how they won. And so they were the more physical team. I thought the Packers deserved to win that game. And so now I believe the Packers, they're going to have an opportunity to build up some momentum over the next 3 weeks. They got the Steelers at home today, at Lambeau, and they travel to Cincinnati to take on Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals here at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. And then in week 6, they travel to Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. We know they're a mess right now in Chicago. They don't even know who's going to start at quarterback. In the matchup today against the Detroit Lions, Matt Nagy is so indecisive. He doesn't know who he wants to start at quarterback. He doesn't know if it's going to be Justin Fields one week. He doesn't know if it's going to be Andy Dalton. Hell, Nick Foles might even get consideration to be the starting quarterback for the Bears, depending on that particular week. So, I think the Packers, they can put together a few wins here. They can beat the Steelers today at Lambeau and beat the Bengals next week in Paul Brown Stadium. It won't be easy because I know the Bengals will be up for that game. I'll be at that game, by the way. But I know the Bengals and Joe Burrow, they're going to be up for that game. They were playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they went down 14-0 in the first half. You go down 14-0 to Aaron Rodgers, you ain't coming back from that in that game. You're not coming back. You're not going to come back from a 14-0 deficit against the great Aaron Rodgers. It will not happen. So, I think the Packers over the next 3 weeks, if they can win all 3 of these games against the Steelers, against the Bengals, against the Bears, improve to 5-1 on the season after 6 games, given the circumstances that what took place in the offseason, as a Packers fan, I'll be happy with the Packers being 5-1 after 6 weeks. I'll be happy with that. I would be satisfied. Definitely be satisfied because we know the Packers are going to win the NFC North. They're going to win the NFC North. Like the Minnesota Vikings, they're inconsistent. The Chicago Bears, they can't get their quarterback right. And the Detroit Lions, they're the Lions. In this game, I got the Packers beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to say Packers 34, Steelers 27. That's what I got today. Packers 34, Steelers 27. So the Steelers will fall to 1-3 on the season. Packers will improve to 3-1.